Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Brett. Got videos today from Brett Cooper. What happens when the government plays matchmaker? It's not just Japan. South Korea is now in it. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So obviously this goes without saying, especially if you guys watch the show a lot, but dating is a mess. We talk about it all the time. I see your comments. I know that it is not fun out there whatsoever, but it's not just dating. It is everything that comes after dating. Our birth rate is plummeting. And I don't just mean here in the US. It is plummeting across the world. Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about a rapidly growing feminist movement in Korea, which, shocker, is only widening the divide between Korean men and women, literally driving them to hate each other and boycott relationships. But Korea's population is in peril, and the government has decided to step in, which we mentioned in that episode. However, it's not just them. Japan is taking an even bigger swing to save their population, and I'm thinking that maybe the United States government should take some notes. Before we jump into this story, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss one of our comment section episodes. All right, so if you want to hear more about Korea's 4B feminist movement and all of its insanity, I will link 2 recent episodes below where we covered it. It is wild, and of course, per usual, it is just laughably hypocritical. Just to give you a taste, they are boycotting men, literally choosing to be lesbians, but they're struggling to make money and get off their feet, so they're actually just moving back home and relying on their fathers to take care of them and support them.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Literally in one of the articles, she was like, yeah, I go home and my parents cook me dinner, and that's the only way that I can eat. Really killing the patriarchy, aren't you? Really, ooh, your father's gonna hate that. Can't believe you're relying on another man. You just can't make this stuff up. Anyway, the Korean municipal government knows.
Like I said, I talk about it all the time for my Asian family. That's a normal thing. Most of my cousins live with my aunts. And even when I was living on my own and mom was still alive, she only lived about 15 minutes away from me. So she will make food for me all the time. She'll pre-season a whole bunch of ribs and then put them in Ziplocs for me to take home and put it in the freezer so I can just fry up ribs later. It's a great thing. I don't think it's a bad thing in a sense, but the way women portray it as, oh, I don't need men, I'm going to go do this. It's good that you're doing that, in my opinion, but the reasoning is, oh, because you don't think you don't need men? Why can't you just say, oh, I want to save money and spend time with my family instead of, I hate men, so I'm going to go do this?
Know that all of this is going on, they see their birth rate plummeting, and they've decided to take matters into their own hands. And since last year, cities across the country have been hosting government-sponsored dating events. And it's not just because they want men and women.
Those singles events are going global, boys. In the United States, it's also going up. I also saw someone in the comment section saying, oh, this is old news, singles event. No, singles event is becoming such a big thing now. It is a new wave of singles events because women are so desperate. Not just women, people are so desperate. Men not so much, but the government's desperate too.
Women to get along, and they want the 4B movement to be eliminated. It is because their population could be eliminated if people do not get it together. Now, the first time I saw this pop up in the news was back in November. This article says, South Korean city turns to matchmaking to increase low birth rates, and this is from November 30th. And this author wrote, while Christmas music played, 100 South Korean men and women gathered at a hotel near the capital of Seoul with their names written for others to see. They were hoping to find love. The government hopes they will make babies. Aren't we all? Aren't we all, everyone? I'm speaking to Americans as well. Like, you guys know that I love my dogs, but it is time for these women to stop being dog moms and parents and become real parents. That one attendee said, we are facing a real demographic crisis and the government needs to do whatever it can. I don't understand people complain.
It's not a demographic crisis. It's really just incentives and education. The education system has given women so much power and freedom. It gives women the right to do whatever they want. And it's not a bad thing, but because we give women the rights to do and pick and choose, they pick and choose not to have kids. That's the part that I don't think we can really adjust properly unless we instill culture and morals and, things into people as they're growing up.
Over this because obviously they were saying that the government was being too in their business and that it was cringe, it was weird, they didn't want to show up, but I think that was mainly just bitter critics because people showed up. The average number of children born to each South Korean woman, called the fertility rate, fell to 0.78 last year. The country
Damn.
has the lowest fertility rate in the world. And apparently, like I said, this is working because thousands and thousands of men and women are signing up just trying to get into each event, which is capped at 100 people per event. And many of them are leaving as potential couples. The article said,
Isn't it so funny? Because, this B4B movement and all this junk, but yet all of these events are filled. Fuck the 4B. Everybody wants to be with someone. Men and women. It's wonderful to have a life partner. I know I don't like using the word partner so much when it comes to like a wife, but not everybody wants to be lonely. And not everybody wants to go through all this struggle by themselves. It's so much harder when you're older and you really can't take care of yourself without someone there.
Said after 5 such gatherings this year, 198 people among 460 left the events as couples, agreeing to exchange contact
Well, that's not bad. It's slightly under 50%. It's not
information,
bad.
the city said. And while that might not sound like some huge monumental number, I think what's more important is that they are laying the groundwork for people. They're emphasizing that this is a significant issue. They're bringing their citizens into the fold to work on it. They're hosting these events, hoping that people can meet. Maybe they'll, come to another event, meet somebody else. Like, they are at least trying something. And it's not that this is not happening in America. It's just not happening through the government, which I don't really mind. I don't need Joe Biden in our dating life.
True.
But there are these events that are popping up in cities around the country because people
That's
are
what I'm
desperate. They
saying.
don't know where to meet like-minded people. Dating apps are basically dead. Nobody goes up to each other anymore. Like, kind of the only way you can meet someone is in this facilitated environment. And obviously, that is not just a Western issue. But back to the point, now that this is taking off in other cities, the mayor of Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea, is leaning in because their birth rate is even lower than the country's average of 0.78. Fortune wrote about this and said, South Korea has the world's lowest fertility rate. Seoul's mayor thinks that he has a solution, a city-sponsored dating event. And I think that Seoul's fertility rate is around 0.55. I'm pretty sure, it is low.
That means for almost every 2 women, only one of them is giving birth. Holy cow. That's pretty low.
That's probably the lowest in the world. But obviously, as you guys know now, they are not the only ones who are struggling. Japan is facing the same problem, but rather than hosting events, the government has created an app. This is also from Fortune. Tokyo's government plays Matchmaker with new dating app to reverse its plunging birth rate. And this app is not on the market yet. You can't log on and start swiping yet. They have just announced it. I believe that they announced it this week, and it made major news across.
I think it's shitty that they're using an app because they're asking for salary. They're asking for all these things. They're just making hypergamy more set in stone in a sense with these apps. Why not just create incentives? Tax incentives for having kids, tax incentives for getting married, changing the god dang laws so men don't get fucked over left and right might be also a good start. And then men will probably start marrying and having kids if they're not going to get fucked in the ass. Hope you're listening, government.
Across the world, especially in Western media. But the article said the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's latest out-of-the-box idea is to play Cupid by launching a dating app. And it has already allocated $1.28 million to debut it by the end of the summer. And unlike other dating services, the government-sponsored project has strict measures in place to address a serious concern for people searching for love online: authenticity. And so they are already jumping ahead of people's very valid concerns with dating apps, like the fact that people lie about their relationship statuses or they'll catfish their looks. That ain't gonna happen on this Japanese app.
Again, it's not even going to be the catfishing and all. It's hypergamy. These women are only going to pick top tier men. That's what dating apps are always been about. It just put hypergamy on fucking steroids. So now that the government's coming in and making their own, it doesn't change the hypergamy issue. And that's why a lot of women are not getting with men, because women can make their own money now. And if they can make their own money, but hypergamy is still rampant, they're not going to choose normal average men that they qualify for or they are average to.
Fortune wrote, to avoid these pitfalls, the new government-sponsored app will force users to comply with thorough, even arguably onerous requirements before they sign up. I actually kind of like these requirements. To start swiping right, users will have to verify their income, submit a government document to prove that they are single, and sit for an interview with the company running the app. All of the information will be available to potential matches. The new platform is also not for casual daters. Users will have to sign a statement declaring that they are looking for a partner to marry. That is
okay, that part. That's actually a pretty good, decent clause in there that you're only using this app to get married in a sense. that might deter a little bit, especially if you put some consequences in there if people are doing it just to hook up. This might do a little bit better, but still, hypergamy is still rampant in this dating app.
So based. I know that some people might think that this is like insane, but I have seen the videos of people crying over men and women on dating apps. This is necessary because
Sort of.
so many people lie and they use dating apps as a game. They swipe because it's addictive. It's like candy. This is needed. This actually reminds me a lot of the app that my friend Kyle Kashuv is creating. It's called Cuffed. I believe that they're still in the early stages and it's only available in a few cities. But his whole idea is to make dating apps not gamified anymore. Like you can only speak to one person. You have to be there to get married. Super based. Maybe the Japanese government took your idea, Kyle, just saying. Anyway, in speaking about all of this and why Japan is doing it, one government official said, if there are many individuals interested in marriage but unable to find a partner, we want to provide support. Imagine that. A country being interested in their citizens getting along and making babies and continuing their population. Would be great. Love to see it. And obviously,
nice.
This is not the most romantic situation, but it's not like there are many better options out there. Like, what else can people...
Why does it have to be romantic situation? Remember, we used to have arranged marriages. This is almost the same shit nowadays. The dating app, now we're going through, just sifting through things, certain criterias, just like how, matchmakers did back in the day for Mulan. You would go on interviews, you would go and meet someone, they would see what you qualify for, and then they will go and find a man that might qualify and like those type of features. It's arranged marriages just to a weird degree nowadays that the government's doing it. But again, hypergamy is still quite rampant because it's not critiquing or I don't know what the word to say is, to curve the hypergamy of women. If we can't curve that or control that in some way, women are not going to choose most of these men no matter what.
People do. It's dating apps or nothing, or blind date speed dating events at this point. And I am truly very impressed that these countries are taking this issue so seriously because their futures are very uncertain. So I have to ask you guys, let me know in the comments below, would you actually sign up for this? If you were in Japan, if you were in Korea, or even if the United States did this, would you sign up?
Shout out to Britt Cooper. I know some of you guys don't like her voice, but yeah, she covers good topics and stuff. But to her answer, would I sign up for this? No, I don't think the dating app is really going to do much because they ask for salary in there. So if you're matching through salary, most women are going to want someone that makes more than them. And that's always going to be a problem because there probably isn't going to be that many men that make more money than them. Again, hypergamy. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.